Welcome again to my YouTube channel. Today we're going to talk about the value added tax, still on the tax bill 2024 proposed tax bill by the tax reform committee. We've talked about the personal income tax, company income tax. Today we're talking about the VAT. So without wasting much of our time, let's dig deep and see what the VAT has for us. Now, the current and the proposed, we're going to be looking at it. The VAT rate currently that we're operating is 7.5, applied uniformly across most goods and services. 7.5% is what we are currently operating on VAT. Now, the proposed is saying that there is what the reform proposed progressive increase in VAT rate. There's a progressive increase in VAT rate, which is in 2025 will be is going to increase to 10%. In 2029 is going to increase to 12.5%. So 2026 to 2029, 12.5%, whereas in 2030 upward is going to be what, 15%. So there is an increase in VAT rate, and you know, understand when goods and services, when the VAT rate increases, it affects the population, it affects the people, because what you are getting for a lower amount, you begin to get it for a higher amount. That is to say, the low income earners will be targeted at this point, yeah, because they tend to spend more. People will tend to spend more because the VAT rate will increase. For example, if this is for 5 naira, and once this VAT rate is being increased, this can go for 10 naira, because they are going to include the VAT inside and you buy alongside with VAT. This is just an example, right? Good. Let's check about the revenue. Now, the reason why this tax bill has not been passed is because of this section. Revenue allocation. That is the main reason why this tax bill has been going up and down, up and down, up and down. Now, most people are not interested. They don't want to know how they tax the masses. They don't want to know how they put some taxes on some stuffs. Their aim is, how is this money that you are taxing these people, how are they going to be shared? That is their aim. So most of the going up and down is what? Revenue allocation. This VAT that we are generating, all this money that we are generating, how are we going to share it? Currently, how we share our VAT is this: 50% based on equality. That is to say, 50%, we have the 36 states in Nigeria, including the FCT. 50% of the revenue generated, out of 100% you get, 50% of this money will be shared equally among the states, whether the state is working or it's not working, whether it's producing anything or it's not producing anything, whether you have one person there or 2 persons there. All of them will receive the same amount from this 50,000. They are going to divide it by 37 states, including the FCT, right? So that is what we are currently operating. Now, 30% will be based on population. Now, 30% of the revenue will be shared based on population, who have more population than the others. For example, in a state that have 5 million population, we get more of this than a state that have 2 million population, not minding what that state is generating. Right now, a state that have, let's say, 1 million population that generates more revenue for the government, and a state that have 10 million population that generate nothing for the government. Now, at this point, that state that have 10 million that generate nothing for the government will get more of this amount, this 30% more, than a state that have 10 million naira that is generating more to the federation. Is that taken? Now, here 20% is based of derivation. Now, this derivation is what you can generate from the state. Now, you have a state that have 2 persons there, and what you are generating is far, far higher than the states that have over 1 million population over there. Now you are going to earn more than, because you contribute more, you generate more, so you are going to earn more, right? Unlike here, where the population determines how much you get from the coffer, right? But here, what determines here is what you have contributed. They will give it back to you, right? Good. Now, the proposed one that they are coming now up with by the tax reform committee says 60% of the revenue that we generated should be what based on derivation, should be what based on what you can generate. If your state cannot generate anything, then you cannot get any amount from this 60%. If your state generates little, you will get little from this. If your state generates big, you will get big from this. That is derivation. So this now will enable states to sit up and look for things they can do that will enable them to generate more VAT, more money for the government, so that in return they will get more based on derivation, right? Now 20% is based on population. Now 20% of the money generated will be shared equally among the states, including the FCT. Right? Is that clear? Good. That is based on population. That is what they are proposing. Yes. Now 20% here will be based on equality. Now, the whole 36 states, including the FCT, will now share 20% of the revenue equally to every state, whether you are much, whether you are small, whether you generate, whether you don't generate. 20% will be shared equally. This 20% will be shared based on population. You have more population, you get more of this 20%. But 60 will be based on what you can produce, what you can generate, derivation. Now, if you compare these two, you will find out that equality here is 50, equality here is 20. They reduce it to 20. 30% based on population. Here they reduce it to 20. Based on population will be 20. 20% here was based on derivation in the world we are currently operating, but here it is 60%. So they want the states to think outside the box and look for things they can do to better the state and generate more money. That is the essence of this. They want states to work. I think it's a good thing for states to think outside the box and begin to work and do something good for themselves, right? Instead of depending fully on the government. When money comes, you just see it. When money comes, you share it. So this is the reason why this VAT, this bill has not been successful this way, is this sharing formula. Now the governors now say, okay, we are inviting you people so that we deliberate on how this thing can be shared, because we are not accepting this. The governors did not accept this. They say no, this is not possible, it's not good for us. This increment, in fact, this one is not good for us. This is their major aim. They say no, it's not good for us, especially 60% derivative, because they don't want to work. What did I say? They don't want to work. I think, is that the right word? But for the purpose of this lecture, they don't want to work. For the purpose of this lecture, that is why they are kicking against it. Now they come up with their own. Nigeria Governors Forum endorse a reverse value. Now this is the value of the Nigeria Governors Forum, because this thing has been going up and down. Now, revenue allocation, they say 50% will be based on equality. 50% based on equality, whether you work, you don't work. That 50% of revenue generated in Nigeria by the government will be shared equally among the 36 states, including the FCT, equally. They now say, okay, 30% will be based on derivation. That 30% of the money generated will be based on what your state can produce, what your state can do, what your state can generate. They will give it back to you. If your state generates more, they give more to you. If your state generates less, they give less to you. Is that right? So that is it. They now say 20% will be based on what? Population. So the 20% of the money generated will be based on population. So if you have more population, you get more of the 20% here. If you have less population, you get less of the 20%. Now, if you check this with what they have here, 60% is based on derivative. They now reduce derivation here to 30%. That no, we are accepting 30%. We are not accepting 60% based on derivative. So we must not be forced to work. Here we are saying 30% will be based on derivative. At least let's start coming up small, because initially derivation was 20%, then I increase it to 30% instead of 60%. Are you getting it? Maybe they say, I'm going to start small now. We're not going to just jump like that, begin they look for what to do for the state. Now let's start gradually. Obele, you understand, small. Then I say, okay. Now 20% based on population is what they propose. They now reduce their own, they maintain the 20%. They say it's okay, 20% is okay. Then here what we have currently is 30% based on population. They accept, okay, let's reduce this, let's go with 20% based on population. They accepted this. Then the third one is based on equality. Based on equality, they say equality is going to be 50% too. We are accepting 50% to be shared among the states equally. That is to say, they are still maintaining their 50% to be shared among the states equally. Here, equally is 20%. They say no, equally is 50%. So they maintain this. So the only one they adjusted was population and derivation, in which they maintain this 50% on equality, 30% on derivation, 20% based on population. Now, this is where the problem of this tax going up and down is the sharing. How to share this money. If it is how to tax the masses, they are not interested in that. But how this money will be shared so that they can be used in the states is what they are after. So this is what the Nigeria Governors Forum adopted, and I think that the Tax Reform Committee also embraced this. Yes, I think they also embraced it. Not only that, they also went ahead to talk about the VAT. The Governors Forum said that there should be no increase in VAT rates. They say we don't want an increase in VAT so that it will not look as if they are only after the money they will share. And they say no, don't increase VAT rate, that the economy is not good for the people for now. That people are striving to survive. You cannot start increasing tax rates. And you know, when you increase these tax rates, goods and services in the market will also increase. Pending what we are facing now, a high cost of everything is just skyrocketing, right? So they say no, there should be no increase in VAT rate. That is to say, our VAT rate here will remain 7.5%. All this increment, progressive increment, will not work. The Governors Forum did not accept it. They say let's maintain our 7.5 for now. They also say company income tax CIT, they made mention of it. They say there should be no reduction in CIT. They don't want any reduction in CIT. The CIT should remain the way it is now. I did a video on CIT. Look at the CIT here. The CIT, see the reduction, 0.50 for small, 50 million for small company, 50 million to 100 for medium-sized company, large company 100 million and above, and you find that there is a reduction in the CIT here, 18, 16 to 15%. Initially it was 20%, but they deducted to 15% by 2029. And the large company here, 27.5%, is being reduced to 25% in 2029. What I say is 30%. The Governors Forum says no, there should be no reduction. Let us maintain what we have for now. So that is their stand on that. So there is no reduction in CIT for now. Then the EDT, NASIMI, and NITDA, they say there should be no terminal clause in sharing development levy. Now, if you check out this NITDA, EDT, NITDA, and NASINI, you find out that it was initially replaced by development levy, in which will be gradually reduced. Right now, 30% goes to education straight. This goes to technology. This goes to, oh, sorry, I forgot. This goes to one other agency like that. They now see, because here they will be merged together and they have a way of sharing it. But the governors will say no. No, don't share it like that. Whatever belongs to EDT, give it to them. Whatever belongs to Nasin, give it to them. Whatever belongs to NITDA, give it to them. Now, that is the VAT ratio. That is the VAT, proposed VAT and correct VAT. That is what they are all talking about. I believe we'll understand this. So if you have any question, don't forget to put it on the comment section. I'll be waiting to attend to it. Yes, and please don't forget to subscribe and encourage us in this journey. Yes, as we'll be bringing you more of updates on the tax issue. Thank you very much. I wait to hear your question on the comment section. God bless you.